Today I'm going to test the Nank OE Mix open earbuds, which deliver a top-of-the-class comfort for their affordable price tag. But it's not all that clear-cut, so let's get stuck in and talk about the details. Hi everyone, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. In case you are not familiar with the name Nank, it's just the rebranded version of Naenka, the manufacturer of bone conduction headphones such as the Runner Diver or the Runner Pro, both of which I reviewed before. But the Nank OE Mix is not using bone conduction technology, as instead they opted for using more conventional dynamic drivers, as most recent open-ear style buds do. And there seems to be a general shift towards this design in the industry, as for example Shokz, the market leader of bone conduction headphones, have also jumped on the open-ear bandwagon already. And the reason I bring up Shokz is that in many ways, despite the huge price difference between the two products, the design of the Nank OE Mix reminds me of that of the Shokz Open Fit. So while the Nank buds will only cost you less than 1/3 of the Shokz, their compact form factor, their low weight, and their flimsy ear hooks make them a close match in terms of their overall design. And what I personally like the most about the Open Fit also applies to the OE Mix, and that's their extremely good long-term comfort. It's like the Nank buds have the ability to completely disappear from your ears after a couple of minutes, making you easily forget you ever put them on. It's a lightweight and all-plastic design, but the earbuds feel well put together, and we also get an IPX5 level of sweat and rain protection. My only gripe is with the ear hooks, which are a touch too thin and flimsy, so the speaker units move and wobble around a bit. When I first tried them on, I started to worry about the possibility of losing the buds while running or cycling. But as it happened many times in the past, my first impressions were proven to be wrong, as I had no issues with the safety or the fit of the OE Mix whatsoever, not even at high speeds on the bike. In my experience, some more rigid earhook designs can cause hotspots and discomfort. However, the wobbly nature of the speaker units can be a source of possible frustration on the Nank buds too, but more about it in a second. The compact design and the thin ear hooks also allow for using all sorts of sunglasses, bike helmets, baseball caps or visors without a trouble, or at least I have not run into issues during my own tests. And a quick disclaimer before we move on. I got the earbuds from the manufacturer for testing, but I'm not getting paid, nor did I give preview privileges to anyone, so all you get is my honest and unfiltered opinion. Onto the battery case, it has a nice premium feel to it as far as its coating and overall looks. The hinge on the other hand is very loose and it can barely hold the lid open, so you will always have to tilt the whole case a bit backwards when taking the buds out. Another small issue I've got is with the LED light at the front. Every time you put the buds back inside the case, obviously they will be charged. But the LED will keep flashing all the way until the buds are fully charged, and that bright green blinking light can be annoying after just placing the case on the nightstand before going to sleep. And speaking of charging, the battery life of the Nank OE Mix is 8 hours and you get another 3 full charges in the case, which makes the total use time an excellent 32 hours. There is a USB Type-C port at the back of the case, but there is no fast charging feature that I'm aware of. Onto connectivity, the Nank OE Mix comes with a Bluetooth 5.4 wireless chip and it supports the AAC and the SBC audio codecs, so there are no high-res codecs and no multipoint on the menu, which is somewhat understandable given the price point of the buds. What we get is a low-latency game mode, which due to the lack of a smartphone app can be enabled through the touch controls. To be frank, I did not see much of a difference between music and game modes in terms of latency, but in either case, it was low enough for me to not have any lip-sync issues when watching videos. I also did not experience any connection issues or drop signals during my tests.
And now it's time for a quick microphone test. So this is the audio quality you can expect from the onboard microphones when making a phone call in a quiet environment. And in case you were wondering about the phone call quality in more advanced conditions, here is another sample. So this is the audio quality you can expect from the built-in microphones with some wind noise and traffic in the mix.
As for the controls, we got a touch panel on each earbud, which registers taps more or less accurately. And I say more or less because the weakness of the ear hooks rears its head again, as the lack of a fixed position of the main unit makes using the touch-sensitive interfaces a bit unpredictable. If the ear hooks were more firm, I'm pretty sure we would get a better feedback and a much higher percentage of accuracy from the touch controls. But what I can hardly find any fault with is the actual functionality of the panels. We get to control everything, including play, pause, tracks forward and backward, volume, voice assistant activation, and phone calls. We also get the already mentioned game mode switch, and to my biggest surprise, a power on-off option. The fact that you can turn the earbuds on and off without having to use the battery case can be a big plus in everyday use. This feature, combined with the superior comfort and the good battery life, makes it possible to just leave the charging case at home when going on all-day long hikes, for example. Of course, it would be even better if there was a smartphone app where we could fine-tune different things a little, but again, considering the price, it's not necessarily a must-have feature, but a nice-to-have one at the most. And staying on the topic of nice-to-have features, let's talk about the sound quality. With open earbuds, having a powerful bass tends to be an issue. This flaw is inherited in their design, so a decent extension towards the lowest octaves and having a warm and impactful bass is only a nice-to-have extra in the category, regardless of price. But what immediately struck me when started testing the OE mix was the complete lack of the bottom end. What we get is a thin and barely tactile enough mid-bass at best and great clarity across the rest of the frequency range. The mid-range is detailed and open, and we also get loads of energy and good extension in the treble. Maybe a bit too much of that as well, which can make the sound overly bright at higher volumes. Having said all that, the voice intelligibility is top-notch, which makes the OE mix better suited for podcasts and videos rather than music in general. Not that listening to your favorite playlist during a run is not enjoyable, because it can be, but you should not expect a thunderous bass or warm vocals from these buds. And this can partly be blamed on the positioning of the speakers, which in my opinion is neither ideal nor it is consistent. I mentioned the shaky/wobbly earhooks already, which cannot hold the speaker units in the right position relative to your ear canals, and that impacts my perception of sound. The 16.2mm dynamic speakers themselves are capable of delivering more juice in the bottom octaves, but most of that energy gets lost due to the suboptimal positioning of said speakers. It can easily be an issue with my ears only, but this is what I experienced nonetheless. Your mileage might vary, and you can probably make these earbuds sound much better by simply having the speakers in a more optimal position on your ears, because again, the hardware itself is pretty much capable of delivering a dynamic and energetic sound. And to conclude this review, I'm not sure which way I want to go. If I want to be overly critical, then I could say that I have some mixed feelings about the buds due to their flimsy earhooks, their bright sound, and the fiddly touch controls. But instead, I could also say that considering their price and focusing on their strengths, the OE mix is a great solution for all-day and everyday use thanks to the compact open-ear design, the top-of-the-class comfort, the decent battery life, the first-class speech intelligibility for podcasts, and the fact that they can be turned on and off without having to use the carry case. Of course, all of the above is valid and it all applies at the same time, which makes the OE mix a bit of a mixed bag, but a good one at that. So at the end of the day, if all you need is a cheap but capable alternative for your outdoor activities, the OE mix can easily do that. And that was my take on the Nank OE Mix Open Style earbuds. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to comment should you have any questions. Thanks for watching everyone, hope to see you all in the next one.